Hey everybody, what's going on? Rob Cesternino back here to check in for week 3 of Australian Survivor versus the World. Back here with our chief international Survivor correspondent, the incomparable Shannon Guss.
Rob, week 3. I'm good. Week 3 and the final full week.
Yeah,
That happened. We did that.
9 episodes. No
In 3
joke.
weeks. Yeah. I mean, for the people who are keeping up, good job. I think everyone's done very well, but they've made it
And if you're
easier.
not
So it's been
keeping up, why are
enjoyable.
you here?
I did. I never checked the YouTube comments, but I was sharing the YouTube video the other day, and I saw one comment that was like, "Ugh, I keep getting spoiled." I'm like, "Why are you in the recap? Like, we couldn't make it. We couldn't try hard enough to spoil people in
Even
our
on the
captions
exit
and our
interview, I
videos."
feel like you do a really good job of
Really
telling people
try.
not to be here. And I understand people get spoiled by the thumbnail or whatever.
We don't do
Even though
that.
I know we haven't done that, but look, there's all
That's
sorts of
you.
reasons why. Like it's a debate that we have all across RHAP of how do we bring you the latest and greatest and stay ahead of like anything else that you might check out, but also keep you from being spoiled if you haven't seen it. It's a whole thing, but that's not what we're here to discuss when we have so much Australian Survivor. 3 big episodes this week as we're in really the end game, and I have so much I want to break down and go over with you. How are you feeling?
I feel good. I feel like you got what you wanted last week, what you argued you wanted. You wanted David in the game. We saw David's alliance kind of derail the
Oh,
end
I
game to
mean,
make it as boring as it's ever been,
I
really.
would be really remiss if I didn't bring up once again if David was still in the game.
He'd be running it.
How more interesting would this be? David
It'd
has
be
to now
so
choose between his
boring.
alliance and Parvati. That would be, I think, very compelling. Although you said you made the case last week of it's already as good as it can be, Rob.
Well,
It doesn't go to 11. It's already the best possible thing it can be.
this week slowed it down a little bit, but this week slowed it down by the Ghost of David alliance with Luke,
Mhm.
Janine, and Parvati locking in, and
Yeah.
David would just be glued to that, and
Well,
it would be worse.
I have listened to some of your exit interviews. I haven't listened to all of your podcasts. Now, is that confirmed? That do we know?
Nah.
Like, does David have like thumbprints on this? Where because to me, the biggest question of the week is why does Parvati want to work with Luke?
What? No, the biggest question of the week is why does Luke want to work with Parvati? But I
Either way, like I don't.
no,
It doesn't make any sense. It's
I
like,
can I can explain the
yeah,
Parvati one to you. The Parvati one is she's gonna beat Luke and he's carrying her to the end. So like it's the most perfect route to the end ever. But
Luke.
yeah, I
Luke is a jury goat for you.
yes. Anyone's a jury goes to Parvati. Anyone who will sit at the end with Parvati, she has 2 people willing to take her to the final 4 challenge that she will win,
Yeah.
who maybe got a good word in from David. I mean, Parvati's played this flawlessly. Why does Luke want to sit next to Parvati
Okay.
to
Well,
lose?
I'd love to let's talk this through in chronological order because I feel like if we bounce around too much, I feel like that we'll miss some things. But overall, how are you feeling going into the finale?
I feel like Parvati Shallow is playing like one of the great games in global Survivor history. It
It
maybe is
seems
the
like no
best
one
work.
can beat her. And I even feel like Cirie is drawing dead. I feel like
Yeah.
Cirie's only move is to get rid of Parvati, and I feel like that got cut off this week. And I feel like that Cirie is playing a game. I don't see how Cirie could win this season.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I was thinking about winners at war. When you have competition of this caliber, you have all winners, you have like all of these global icons, and people are not going to play as well as they did their first few games or in newbie seasons because the competition is tougher. In Winners at War, who played as good or a better game than their first winning season or in their first seasons? Tony by far,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's like best game ever. I think Sophie was great. I think
Sophie.
Michelle's was better. Everyone else probably worse, right? Tony rises to the occasion to play his best game when everyone else is under. Parvati is maybe playing her best game, and it's a conversation, which is such a credit to her because the bar's so high. Who else can say that? Kirby's kind of there. I think Cass has something she's doing better than the first time. Everyone else is kind of playing their worst game. But so when you're gonna rise above like that, you're gonna dominate, and that's what Parvati's doing, and it's so impressive.
Yeah. All right. Well, why don't we go back to where this week started? And I'd love to talk through this wild episode, which ends up being the double tribal council. And coming into the week, that we start off with, what is it? We come in with 8, and it's 5 people from the World Tribe, and Jess, Luke, and Shaunie, and Janine from the Team Australia. I really felt like that. I want to start with Shaunie, who, and I watched your exit interview with her.
Yeah, she was great.
Did have more going on. I
Yeah.
think it was a quiet season for Shaunie, and I don't know, for whatever reason that the edit didn't choose to show so much about her, but I felt like that. I mean, go back to the first episode where it's
Yeah.
like, we've got a person on the runway. It's like they built up like, okay, we've got Shaunie back, and then they kind of did nothing with her over the course of the season. She was very quiet all the way through. And then, on the final episode, she was very present. But I felt like that overall, she really had a quiet run.
Yeah, run away. They dragged her away from her kid just to drop her storyline. And then if you listen to the X interview, which I highly recommend, like Shaunie's instincts were so good. Like she was thinking it all through. Even like the flip that wasn't explained on Cirie, like that made sense, and the way she was trying to turn and work with internationals. Like she was actually really seeing her jury chances, which is something I've criticized that the other players are not doing. And they just kind of dropped it. I don't know if they didn't know how to tell that story, but she explains a lot in like a 10-minute X interview. So I recommend that. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, because I thought maybe from watching the episodes, I was like, okay, maybe she's a little checked out. Maybe she doesn't really want to
Yeah.
be there. But then I listened to your exit interview, and I thought, no, I think that she was really, she had a plan. She was doing things that made sense. And I can't say that about everybody here.
No.
And I just really feel like that they hit her.
Maybe I think they just don't know how to tell the story that's not around like the winning story or the endgame story. It's going to be about this final 4 coming together, and she gets really like pushed away from that. Like you have the worlds who implode, you have this final 4, and then you have Shaunie, and they're like, we don't have time. We have all the time in the world, but we don't have time for that. So I just don't think maybe they didn't know how to tell that story of what she was trying to do quite individually, but it was definitely a missed opportunity. But one of the things that I thought was so interesting from the exit interviews was that Tommy and Lisa said they didn't go into that tribal council voting for Parvati, because obviously this flip on Parvati is such a big part of it. And Tommy really wanted it to happen, but Cass and Lisa, Lisa's like so indignant. Like, I was trying to save you, and she actually was, like, as verified by Tommy and Lisa in the X interviews. And yeah, and this is what implodes the whole world, and they weren't even going to do it. I thought that was such an interesting note from the exits. But
Okay.
yeah, what did you think?
Yeah,
of this?
let's go through all of that. So just to set the stage coming into this week, where then I did not recall this, but apparently Cass had a scroll from something where she got to go. What was it? She won when she won
winning the
immunity.
Yeah, thank God it was
also
just the spa. I was concerned it would be worse than that.
It's like, okay, remember in the last episode you won something? Okay, well you're going on a reward in this episode because we don't have enough time to fit in the reward in the episode you won it on. And so she went on the spa reward, and this was fun. And she ends up taking with her Parvati and Cirie and Tommy to go on the reward. And it felt like, okay, are they leaving Lisa back here to babysit? And Cass, I thought, does a really good job of trying to lock back in with the World Alliance after there was some friction at the start of it when Cirie and Parvati are voting with Shaunie and Kirby to take out Sarah. But ultimately, it seems like that the world is back on the same page. But is this where Janine is planting seeds in this episode, or was that in the previous episode?
Yeah, Kirby, like the Kirby episode was more with Janine, but I think we see that through line.
All right, so this is like the healing from that, and so it seems like, okay, we're all back on the same page, and everything is going good, and ultimately, Tommy from Finland, he's here, he wins.
How great is Tommy?
I like that he's gone full for third person of Tommy from Finland.
I don't usually like that, but I will allow it here.
Yeah, and so he ends up winning immunity, but he says that he has to make a big move. He wants to take out Parvati. And, you certainly can understand why that's the case. And I feel like that his chances are definitely improved without Parvati in the picture, where now, is Cirie, is really has to come home to the other, Lisa and Cass and Tommy. So I definitely can understand the instinct there, but it seemed like that he did not have the votes to do this, right?
Yeah, I mean, firstly, I've said it, I'd rather go down in a blaze of glory swinging than be carried to the end 20 times out of 10. And the two choices in the season were seemingly too early or never. So
Mhm.
I backed Tommy even more. I gave him a Memorial Chizzy point, and it should have been two. That's what all I've come away from that thinking is it should have been two Memorial Chizzy points instead of one. But yeah, I mean, I think the issue with Tommy is he couldn't convince even one person to do it, not one person.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that's the issue.
So
That's Parvati's missed in her, like, the way she's insulated in her relationships and everything. That's so good.
yeah. And the mist is a hard thing to talk about, I think, on the podcast, where, we can like break down the moves and the strategy. But I'm finding, especially with this season, I think it's hard to just like explain away because I think that like what we do in terms of this thing of ours is a lot of analysis of like, this was the decision that this person made. And then when people make moves that are, I guess, illogical or don't necessarily make sense, and we just have to go with like deus ex machina of like, but what this person just like rizzed them, and
Yeah.
you can't really see it on television, and or maybe you can, but we just have to, that's hard to explain.
I did have a psychological theory this week,
Yeah.
more in the middle episode, but it was about like why all of these people are willing to go to the end with Parvati. And I felt like it was because all of those people, Shaunie seemed like she would take out Parvati in the exit. But I thought like the Kirbys, Luke, Janine, Cirie, possibly Shaunie, had all made it so far, but had never sat at the end and were all going to win their other seasons
Hmm.
probably prior to this. So they just have it in their mind that they just have to get to the end with anyone rather than seeing like Parvati is the biggest threat in this season. Like I don't think they can recalibrate
Yeah.
for this season because their internal narrative for years has always been if I get to the end I win, so I just need to like give my pitch, which we
Yeah.
kind of hear Cirie saying as well. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that that's definitely plausible. I think also something, and Lisa alluded to this in her exit interview, where she said that, but the thing you don't understand is like in this format, you just don't have that much time. And I think that maybe that the shorter sprint format, I think, plays a little bit more in favor of, the bigger names are able to sort of like just a little bit more, just people are afraid of them. Whereas if there was more time, you wonder if that maybe people would be able to talk through the things a little bit more of like, listen, okay, let's just like work this out. It's in my best interest. It's in your best interest. Where that there would be a little bit more time to like, how do we attack this thing as opposed to like, how are we getting just like pushed around by the person? I don't mean like literally, but I mean just like the person who has the advantages and has the idols. Like, it seems all very scary. But if there was more time, I think that the other players might be able to better attack that.
Well, firstly, like obviously it's a skill of the people who've used it well, like that has separated them out to their credit. But also, I don't know how much grace I can give it because it seems so easy. How much time do you need to think, take out the biggest threat? Like it's not that complicated. It's not some like
You would
40
think.
chess move. You would think, but you think that like Luke and Janine are gonna like days later be like, like there it is. You
Mhm.
like I don't know why you need days
Okay,
to
well, we're
I
not
think
there yet.
Cirie's
Well,
path is
let's
harder, but yeah.
let's get there. Okay, so now you spoke with Lisa, and I watched your exit interview with Lisa. Can you just explain to me? And the thing that, and you brought it up in the exit interview, the thing that I don't quite understand is Lisa's conversation with Luke, which ends up being probably the biggest moment of the week because it really, the die is cast in this whole direction of this series of unfortunate events for Lisa and Tommy and Cass because of all of this. That could you just walk me through, what Lisa's trying to do there?
But I guess she's giving a decoy name. I don't know why with so much specifics. Like the decoy name that I'm not even voting for. Um, but Tommy is verifying that they weren't voting for Parvati. So I guess
Yeah,
she said she was kind of just like left alone with them and was like, Parvati, like let's discuss like the third option, right? So
yeah,
can't say I'm voting for you, which she was. So I guess that was it. But they weren't
yeah.
meant to give a decoy name. They specifically said, don't give them a name.
Hmm.
So you can't even have used that as an excuse, and it's an excuse that seems to have been true.
because I thought that Luke does a lot of things well in this episode. And I think I have a lot of questions about the other parts of Luke's game throughout the week, but I really felt like that this was his best episode.
Well, the first like 80%. I didn't think taking out Tommy was good at
Well,
all.
okay, sure. We'll get to okay.
Yeah.
So
The first
so
vote was good. The first vote
right.
was
Because
yeah.
they're going to go into this tribal council where the world has 5 and there's only 3 people from the Australian team. Also, Luke comes into it with his idol, which he doesn't really even contemplate using here. And it's a miracle that he
That's
gets this
true.
far. He's
Yeah.
been at the bottom for so much of this. He's talked about how he's voted wrong so many times, but somehow
Yeah.
he has this secret idol that he still has to this point here, the final 8. And he's set up like really well at this point. And at the tribal council, it really all starts to unravel where the name on the minds of the world players, they're going for Shaunie. That's the plan. Cirie doesn't want Shaunie around. I think Cirie was a little bit spooked by that Parvati, was with Kirby and Shaunie and was so quick to jump over there. So I think it's very beneficial for Cirie to take out one of Parvati's other options potentially to go with Shaunie. But can you just walk me through how does this begin to unravel at this tribal council?
Well,
Luke just drops the bomb that Lisa had been mentioning that they want to vote out Parvati.
we see Pav's read, Pav's gut, Pav seeing them talk, which is like the first thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think, yeah, the Australians light a fuse on that bomb and almost a Dondi bomb, probably.
Yeah.
And I do wonder, and I really want to know, because Lisa said that when they were talking about Luke or Shaunie, she felt like Parvati was protecting Luke. Like, how much is there that synergy to be like, that they will run back to it, that there will be that trust because of David? I'm telling you, his fingerprints are all over this.
Yeah, that's a really good question. And I had like, as the week went on, where there was more and more conversation between Parvati and Luke, I was really thinking about like, because we know that if David was so far down the road to tell Parvati, hey, you know who I really want to work with? Rob Bentley. Like, I
Yeah.
have to feel like that, like 9 conversations earlier was
20
David
conversations.
saying, like,
Yeah.
Luke, I'm telling you, Luke is
It's so
good.
true.
Luke is my guy. And so,
Engineer.
right. So I feel like that there would probably be like earlier conversations if they got to Rob Bentley.
Yeah, how much time were they at like the Dondi airport? Just like, well, and I think like by the time they got to Bentley, you could probably like montage it over of how many
Because I
people.
guess my first question, I said I thought that Luke does a really good job at sort of like dismantling this alliance was like, why? Like, I understand like the idea that there was like, they felt insulted of like, wait, you tell us a name? Like, do you know who we are? You tell us a name
Yeah.
right before tribal council.
Yeah.
And it seemed like that they were all insulted, but why don't they want, even if just Tommy is going to write down Parvati's name and there's 3 of them.
That's not enough. Oh yeah, that's right. It's not 8. Yeah.
Like on
Yeah.
a revote, Lisa or Cass wouldn't flip over and vote out Parvati.
Yeah. But also, this was fine at 8. Like it's fine to get into the
And I know
3-2-2.
Parvati then is going to take out her idol at this tribal council. Say, hey, I'm either going to play it for me or Cirie, but she hasn't done that yet. Like
I know that
the
it's just
fact
kind of
that they chose to let me blow this up and take out, try to, ultimately try to get Lisa out here at this tribal council and out her. But you had a chance to blindside the biggest fish. It seems to me like that would have been even a more optimal way to go.
I don't know that that's more optimal. Tommy hadn't spoken to them. The world hadn't spoken to them. They're very cagey about that. Tommy isn't voting for Parvati at that point, so they actually don't have the numbers. So they slip out that like if they do nothing coming into that tribal council, like Shaunie probably is going home. So they sniff out correctly that it is at this point a decoy or it's not happening. They blow it up, and also if you take out Parvati, look, always take out Parvati earlier rather than late. But it's possible then Cirie comes back with the world. I'm not always take up Parvati for sure. Like I love that Tommy tried it. I definitely then or ever, Luke. But I do think that like they then technically come back to a 7 where they're the 3 with the 2-2 and the worlds are really fractured and Parvati's pulling Cirie away from whoever's left of the internationals. And they can really, you would think, pivot. The difference is they actually didn't pivot at all.
They didn't pivot.
Yeah.
So
but I thought this was great.
I mean, I feel like it doesn't really take, this great vision to be able to see, okay, well, Tommy is probably, on the bottom of like this world group. And I don't know why that wasn't like the first thought for Luke and Shaunie and Janine, was to not try to get, hey, Tommy, do you think that the 4 women are going to take you to the final 3? And maybe Tommy's like, maybe
He could have rocked. He
sure,
would
maybe
do it.
Tommy's like, hey, I'll win out. I'll win immunities. Don't worry. Like,
He doesn't want to go with them. He does want to target,
mhm.
he wants to target them. Like, you're preaching to the choir.
But anyway, okay, so but they end up going in this different direction. And then we have this very live tribal council where everything is falling apart and Parvati is taking out her idol. And Luke, I thought, does a really good job here of also then he is doing some gaslighting here, where then he tries to say, also, by the way, that at the last vote, when it was Cirie, that was Lisa's idea.
Yeah, well, not like no one would possibly have the worst lie of all
Yes.
time, but like they were on that.
Mm-hmm. When it
Yeah,
was, correct me if I'm wrong, Luke, that was Luke.
yeah,
Luke
and they
comes to
weren't doing
them
it, and they
with
didn't
that
do it.
name.
Yeah.
So I thought that was very quick from Luke to be able to then also like, and as Cirie says, like as she puts it from her mom, is there a ring of truth to that?
Yeah, my mother always said, although Janine is in his ear, like, tell him what they did, Luke. So I think she's kind of like the mastermind behind some of those lies,
Mm-hmm.
which might come back to bite her, because I think Janine is in the shadows, like, you should do that. But then Luke does it. So, like, at a final tribal council, I don't know if she's getting the credit for some of those things, but they both did very well here.
Yeah. Okay.
End point.
So we get now the live tribal council, everything is coming up. And so I thought this was really wild that then, Parvati and Cirie go to have their huddle, and then like Luke joins them. Luke is in their huddle when,
Yeah.
I just thought that coming into this merge, where the first thing that we have at the auction is Luke ends up getting the scroll, and he gets to send somebody to go be sent away from the auction. And he ends up choosing Parvati. And there's that really great moment where Parvati's like, I'm going to count down, Luke. You're making a mistake. 5, 4. That if there was, though,
A
that,
Dondi. Yeah.
yeah, I don't
Was it
understand.
fake? Was it a
Well,
fake?
did
Did they
Luke
come
do
and
that?
say they were
Did
going to pretend to fight?
did Luke do that? And you would know better than, as a Luke observer for many years, like, is that in his nature to, okay, I actually do want to work with Parvati, but I'll throw everybody off the scent by publicly making a show of, I'm going to send her away.
This felt so real to me. Like,
It did feel real.
if this was an act, bravo. Give him an EGOT, honestly.
Maybe they weren't on the
Even
same
a
page,
Grammy,
where maybe
sure.
he thought like, okay, I'm going to throw people off. But then Parvati's like, Luke, what are you doing? Don't do this. This is dumb.
We have had that question from a lot of people this week about, like, if the Dondi fingerprints are all over this, was it an act? My thought is he's not originally thinking of David's allies coming into this. He is Australia strong.
Yeah.
He does send Parvati as a gut instinct, but they come back from it better because of that connection. If it's an act, on 10 out of 10, like, genuinely, I'm impressed.
Well, the only thing is that Parvati really made it seem like that after that point, she's like, Luke, you messed with the wrong person. But she doesn't ever like seem to want to get her pound of flesh back from
Yeah, she
him.
never killed him as advertised. He said we could go on a walk and leave the machete, and she said, it's fine, I can kill you with my bare hands. No bare hands were to be seen.
Mm-hmm.
None at
So,
all.
yeah, I don't know. Maybe unexplained. Maybe in your deep dives, you'll be able
Oh,
to get to the
it's a
bottom of that.
question. It's a
Yeah.
question. Like, where did it come from? Where did this alliance come from? How much is David a part of it? And when did it start?
Okay.
But maybe they won't even like let us know because it feels pre-gamey. But damn, I want to know so bad.
Let's go back to now at the live tribal council. And okay, so now Cass tells Lisa, go talk to Parvati, go tell her. And Lisa ends up sort of coming clean. And I don't know if this was inadvertent or, really just, she just wanted to, here's the whole truth. But it ends up coming out that it's Tommy kind of gets thrown under the bus here.
Yeah, and wouldn't you if it comes out that like Lisa and Cass didn't want to do that, and Tommy was the only one doing it, and it's like now torpedoing the whole game, and he said in the exit that they still talk to him about that. So it kind of does feel fair, even though she clearly feels bad about it later.
Yeah. And then it comes back where, all right, it's looking maybe not so good for Tommy after Lisa's conversation for Parvati, but that there's still a thought of everybody is saying like, well, maybe we should just go for Lisa.
Yeah. And Cass was such a good move from Parvati. This was so good. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Cass is the only endurance threat who was taking anything from Parvati at the
Yeah.
final four.
Okay.
So
And
good.
so it comes out. Okay. So we're going to basically get down to vote here. I'm just looking at my notes. And so Parvati's advantage. I feel like that of the many things this week, I have so many strong feelings
Please.
about
I want to hear him.
this idol stealer that I hate so much.
What? No, it's
I,
a bluff. She can't use it. You know that, right?
yes,
Okay, good.
I,
There's
you
people
know
who
what?
are angry about it.
But, and this is, I'm going to get into one of the many things that I hate about all this.
You
And
hate.
yes, I do. Because first off,
I'm about to be so
it's,
angry. I don't even know why yet.
well, why? Why are you going to be angry
What
with
do
me? I
you hate?
say,
Okay, what do you
okay.
hate? What do you?
First off, I don't like this thing as like even a device. I don't like that players are allowed to like. It seemed like okay. Here's a new thing that nobody knows about, and we complained about this. Was very new era coded to me. Of here's a thing in the
It's
game.
literally knowledge is power. So
Yes. Here's the thing in the game that nobody knew like could have been a thing. They have not seen the other season of Australian Survivor. I, as a viewer who did not see that, did not know that this was, oh wait, Parvati is actually doing something that she's not allowed to do. And then she is playing an advantage in a way that's not how it's actually supposed to be played. I feel like, and again, I want to be fair about this because also I didn't love in Cagayan, and I think I've been consistent about this, that Tony is able to
okay.
play his god idol or tell people that his idol works at 4 when it really expired at 5, and that was one of Tony's big moves to get past that. So I want to just be fair. I
Yeah.
don't like
So
this
takes are
across.
consistently bad
The,
across decades
so,
for this
well,
one thing.
let me
Sorry, I'm
explain,
heated.
and then please
I can't
rebuttal.
wait. I can't
Of
wait. I can't wait for your
I don't love that players are able to like use like I guess I don't like that there's like the rules are unclear for all the players of what exists and what doesn't exist in the game. And I know it is what it is. That's Survivor, baby. But I just feel like if there is this thing in the game, the players should know about its existence and know how it works. And you shouldn't be able to use a new power that the players don't know about in a way that isn't how the power is even actually allowed to be used and just say you're allowed to do that.
Okay, rebuttal. If she had actually just used the idol stealer, that is worse to me. Like, not knowing that you can have your idol stolen, fairly telling people about your idol, like Parvati herself does, because that is a fine way to play idols and like create connections, and then having it stolen because you don't know there are idol stealers in the game and there's no precedent. That sucks more to me than this. You say they don't know the rules. Ask for the parchment. She's reading it right in front of you. Anyone can make up anything. She's not actually playing it. She's bluffing with it. Tony used that. Ask him to verify. Like the same way when someone has a fake idol, ask to see the parchment. Rob Bentley did this in Island of Secrets, but he didn't have an advantage that he, changed the rules of. He made it up completely.
Yeah.
He went to the Island of Secrets. He came back. I said, I have a vote verifier. I'll be able to see how 2 people vote. And it kept people in line because they were so scared. That advantage doesn't exist. It's never existed. Anyone at any time can say, I have an idol stealer and I can take your idol. Don't play it. And they could literally have tree mail. Like, it was the power of the bluff that actually makes it less unfair. And the worst part about this is that Cass is fighting the language barrier. I do think that part sucks. But for me, bluffing with it or Tony bluffing with it, you can ask to see the parchment. And if Parvati won't give you the parchment, call the bluff. Why are you being so then show it to me. So for me, the bluff actually makes it more fair. She's explaining the thing. Let's get on the same page and meet her there, rather than, oh, you have an idol and I've stolen it and you couldn't possibly know that I have knowledge of power and idol stealer, which I like when people know the rules. But I think at the point where you're bluffing things, don't just believe it. If someone comes up to you with parchment and says, I can take your idol, give it to me, like, don't just hand it over. Don't do that. Anyone can say that at any point.
Yeah. In Big Brother, they do have a rule, which they don't always enforce, but they have a rule of you're not allowed to use production as a strategy. And I do feel like that I would like to be able to know, like, if I was in this situation, that, somebody wouldn't be able to just make something up. You
That's
have good.
brilliant.
I just don't love it. And as a viewer, to have it where I don't know that Parvati is bluffing the power of this until the next episode, I also feel like is less than ideal. I don't know how necessarily you relay that information to me, but I was more mad about it when it happened. I'm like, wait, how is this? How is this even fair?
A lot of
that
people
she's
were
allowed
mad.
to just. Oh wait, hold on. Nobody's allowed to play an idol because I'll steal your idol if you take it out. Well, how do I ever play my idol if you can just take it from me? So. I did get in the next episode that it is more. I understand how the thing is played, but bad job, especially on Cass, where credit to Parvati for doing it. I don't know if I love that she's allowed to do that. Credit to Parvati for what she did, and really discredit to Cass for then when. She stands up to play her idol. Parvati's like, no, you can't. I got the thing. You can't play that idol. And then she said, I'm gonna play it for Lisa. And Parvati's like, oh, okay, that's fine then. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're gonna play it for Lisa, then fine.
Yeah. Then I won't steal it. But did you vote for Lisa?
Yes,
but I'll still let you negate my vote.
Mm-hmm.
I never had. Obviously, like, I watched Miles play it. I was very sure it was the same. And I knew that Parvati wouldn't act like that. If she could actually steal the idol, she would steal the idol. So I never felt angry at it. Even I went back and, even with all of that, checked to make sure, on the 1%, that she couldn't play it then. But I just think people could use this more. Like, how far is it from a fake idol? You can make up an idol with fake powers at any time. Let people call your bluff. Like it's a game of lying and deception and bluffing. I think, to me, it's like the fabric of the game.
I think it's a slippery slope where, that we are, injecting new powers into the game. It's just like, and I think you and I will both say, as purists of the game, I don't love that we just inject new things into the game that players don't know about, new powers. And I know this is always part of the thing, and the monster and all that stuff. But I think it's to me, this is the things about Survivor that we like the least.
Yes. Her just playing a trinket that no one knows about and getting one over on Cass, who has shared her idol in that way to say make a connection, which she didn't do, but in this reality, that's playing a trinket that no one else knows about. I don't love the trinket playing, and I don't love the new trinkets. That, to me, is what I don't love. What I love is creative thinking, lying, thinking on your feet, bluffing. To me, making up a vote verify advantage and that people don't ask to see, and it keeps them in line, is one of the best moves of all time. Tony having the guard idol is nothing to me compared to scaring people with it and using it to enforce his power. It's, to me, that it's not the same thing.
I'll give you another example of something I didn't like with this, where even when idols expire, but they're still in the game, and you could use them as a fake idol. And
the parchment.
Like in Survivor HHH, that I think that Ryan sent Chrissy a one tribal council idol that she had. And then, but then it's still in the game. And then at the final 5, they're trying to bluff Ben with a real idol, but it's actually expired. But it doesn't have an expiration date on the idol. I mean, it's just it's the point where I need to see all your paperwork. Bring your folder to me. And how, in what world is this good? A good game or good television of that I have to watch people go through paperwork with highlighters and try to okay, I have read the fine print on this, and now the game can continue.
It's not even that fine, though. It's the fact that Cass doesn't say, let me see that. She's literally holding it, and she's like,
Yeah. Yeah, you
I
make a
can,
good point that,
don't look at
like
it,
the
but
Parvati's thing is literally a piece of paper that has the rules on it. So it's not
yeah.
like that. It's like a like golden duck that she has brought out that says that I will steal your idol. So yes, I just don't know. Like it gets into like the Troyzan non-transferable of it all. Of like that we have to hold on. Let me see that paper. Like,
That's
what are we
tough.
even doing at tribal
That
councils? Like in the heat of a live tribal council, it's like I'm gonna need to see the paper here and look through this.
Yeah, I mean, look, I like the expiring idols less, but again, for me, that's yeah. I mean, I think you should always ask to see the parchment. Like that's more
Mhm.
finicky because it's like, is it an eye? Like all of these things, like nothing
Yeah.
defines them from each other. And I do like more of a defined game, but I think yeah, bluffing around that. If people don't catch you out, like that's on you. And the thing about like the non-transferable advantage was Cirie was trying to play it. Now it becomes like a trinket in the game, but anyone can say anything at any time if they're not going up to JLP to say I'm playing this. Be like,
Mhm.
play it. Let
Yeah.
me, let me, if you won't show it to me, like you're clearly lying. Like there was so many ways to catch her out, but they just didn't think as fast as her.
Okay. Well,
That's the fabric of the game to
it's
me.
just
Anyway,
I don't like knowledge is power. I don't love this. I think it's a little bit more fair if you have to play this before a tribal council or at least before the votes are cast, kind of
it
like the
is.
idol nullifier.
Yeah, before the votes are cast. That's when she's
Right,
playing. Yeah.
right. Okay, so I don't want to spend too much more time on this, but it's just
No, I
it's not
love the
my
debate.
favorite
I'm
thing.
sorry I said that your takes were consistently bad across decades because I was fired up. I just meant I disagree with this one
It's okay.
take.
I didn't take any offense to it. I just
Good.
no shade on Parvati for like doing
No,
what she did. I just I
some of the
don't
best moves of
love
all
that
time.
you're, able to like in the heat of the moment, like really in a live tribal council, like Cass is gonna like stop down and say, like, excuse me, I'm gonna need to read that and make sure you're allowed to do it. And then Parvati's gonna be like,
Parvati's
you
thinking
don't
so
trust
quick.
me? You don't
Great.
believe me?
Yeah, I would
Um,
really not believe if someone won't show me the parchment. And she's
Yeah,
literally
it's
got
like,
it
well,
anyway.
I guess you're not with me if you are trying to read my note here at Tribal Council in the
Then
middle of
steal it.
everything. Yeah. So, all right,
Anyone should
they
do that. By the way, next time in the next Australian Survivor season, you don't have to have an idol stealer. Get a piece of tree mail and say you can steal someone's idol to get them not to play it
yeah.
on themselves.
I also, again, just to go back to last week's episode, the fact that Parvati got the cookies and also disadvantage, I thought also was too much.
Yeah, that's fair. I think
That
all of that is fair, but I think that she
I've had a
used it as
problem with
brilliantly as
disadvantage
possible.
from the second it came on the screen.
Yeah,
Then, all right, Cass ends up getting voted out. And I did come around on Cass. I thought she was
good.
actually
She
pretty
was
good by
wonderful.
the end of it. I mean, I think I would have preferred, so with all due respect to Cass and Tommy from Finland, I would have preferred if the whole tribe was, and Lisa too, I would have preferred if it was all US survivors versus Australian survivors, with all due respect.
To Rob Bentley as well.
Rob Bentley, like, seems like that
Well,
Rob
you
Bentley.
thank Jeff Probst for that.
Yeah. Okay. That that being said, Cass I thought was pretty fun. I think she's a pretty good player.
Yeah, I think she was great. I think
Yeah,
that she was really good.
she
She
did
was
some
a
good
good
things.
foil to Parvati. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So then we go right into, and I didn't know what was going to happen because we have like this sort of like we go to tribal council like in the middle of the episode, and then we end up having our classic Australian Survivor immunity challenge at tribal council.
Yes, they love that.
Hmm.
Seasonal staple ever since George made it the episode 7 classic. This was
Yeah.
episode 7, but that was in the pre-merge. That was in the pre-swap. And here it's in like the last week of the game.
In the home
But yeah.
stretch. And
Yeah.
so Luke ends up winning the immunity here. And now this was really the head scratcher where, okay, you have now Lisa and Tommy seemingly as a pair. And then Cirie has lost trust of like what's going on. She seems the most down on Lisa that she's going to be throughout the whole season. Parvati and Cirie are over here. And now we have the three Australian players, Luke and Shaunie and Janine, and they seemingly have all this momentum. They came into this night down 5-3, but now suddenly we have a 3, a 2, and a 2, and it seems like that there's
Perfect.
a 2 that's ripe for the picking. And instead, they are going after Tommy.
All I've asked from Luke in this entire week is plurality vote Parvati out of the game. Like, let one vote be on Cirie, which is Tommy's vote. Lisa votes for Janine. They're going to vote Tommy. Your 3 votes over the top. 3, 2,
Yeah.
1, 1. It's the best move of all time. Do you know how many best moves of all time lay on the side of the road this week as we drove past them, just waving out our window. The best move of all time that Luke especially could have made on Parvati this week.
Now, how much of this do you attribute to, Parvati has now taken out the idol and, shades of Russell Hantz,
How
in
dare you?
that she's like wearing the idol around her neck at Tribal
Well, he went
Council.
home with it around his neck in the second Tribal Council, so it's a little bit different.
I doubt she went back and watched Russell's season of Australian Survivor.
I think she probably laughed and laughed.
But
it was two episodes. I'm sure she found the time.
Maybe. Yeah. So how much of this was like, okay, well, we know Tommy has nothing, and this is the safe vote to vote out Tommy, and now we'll go back to camp because you still leave Lisa in the game, and we could talk about Lisa wanting to fall on the sword for Tommy, but it just seems like, well, why not pick up Tommy here?
Yeah. My God, this
hey
week
Tommy,
is so conservative from them.
Yeah, why?
He's begging them. He's begging them. Yeah. Well, Shaunie said Janine had really cultivated, and we do see that, like she'd really cultivated Parvati and Cirie, and wanted to keep investing in that. I just highly disagree. The 3-2-1-1, Rob, it's right there.
Yeah.
All these plurality votes.
So, all right, you want to talk through Lisa wanting to step away because JLP, I thought, really like laid it out of like, sure, you can quit, but you're not going to be on the jury. And also, we're still going to vote.
There's so many funny things here. There's a lot of things here. Lisa at the final four had someone quit to help her win. So that happened. Tommy at the final four had someone quit as well. That that probably helped him lose. I don't know. He would have been a jury vote against him, but it wasn't someone on his side, and he had immunity. So there's a lot of that happening. Do you think production is bluffing here? Because like if production do that, they go into the final two, and I just don't think they want to. Like, do you think they really are voting out Tommy tonight if that happens? Like, they could go to the final two, which is what I kind of thought.
This would really be like shades of Micronesia. So
yeah.
So how many people are on the jury right now? So Sarah, was it Sarah, Kirby?
Yeah, it's either going to be 3 and 7, or if Lisa leaves
on the jury.
Yeah, so it'll be a final 3 with 7, but if Lisa quits and isn't on the jury and they don't vote out Tommy, it's a final 2 with 7.
A final 2 with 7,
which is also works. Yeah.
Hey, if Lisa walked away and we got a final 2 in a Survivor season in the year of our Lord 2025, like people say, we stand.
Yeah, except that Cirie goes out third. I'm like, Lisa, no.
I don't know. I think a final 2 helps Cirie in this spot.
Well, probably not. I mean, it hasn't before. That one time when the surprise final 2 due to Medivacs and quits.
I think it comes down to if Parvati is winning the final 3 challenge, she takes Cirie with her, and then does she become sort of like if you don't want to vote for Parvati, I am a good option.
Yeah, it's probably like a similar path that she has now, but like a little bit trickier even. But yeah. So I don't know if they were bluffing or not. What did you think of this? This moment from Lisa? I think people had feelings about it.
I feel like that Lisa is in a position. I heard her talk to you about this in the exit interview, and she said, I think it's rather easy to get to the end of Survivor, to which I would say I disagree respectfully.
Well, you did it. Well, you didn't. That's the point.
I got to the final 3.
You would have, but you got to the final 3 where
sure
you would have won. That's what you're saying. Like, it's not, you know what I mean? Like, like you got to the final 3, but I think if you get past it, you put yourself in a winning position. And she's saying that that's the tricky thing that you did almost do.
So I can understand why Lisa in that moment, and I think she must have been feeling, rather lousy, as you pointed out, where that Cass was going to play the idol for her, and then ultimately, and she did, and still ended up going home. And I think that she felt like, and I am not familiar with Lisa's winning season of Survivor New Zealand, but I know that there's also some feelings that she had there. So, I'm really, I have a lot of empathy for Lisa, and I really, feel like she's in this spot where she does not see a path, where she cannot win, and maybe she feels like if I can, like let Tommy have my spot. Go ahead. Take
Yeah.
take my spot. Like, it's not going to happen for me.
Yeah, and she's very pragmatic in that way. And I want to defend Lisa because I think that people were so down on her after this that they were like, she played a terrible game. How did she win Survivor New Zealand? I'm like, go watch the season.
Mhm.
Like, it's widely available. It's on template for the Australian casuals that seem angry about this. How did she win? Like, watch it. But she played a good game and then had like 3 bad hours. You know, she
Yeah.
was the connector between Cirie and Tommy and Cass, and she had a lot of power in that through the pre-merge into the first couple of votes of the merge and the
Yes.
Kirby boot. She has 3 bad hours. I'm not saying the Luke thing was good. I'm not saying that this whole live tribal council was good at all. And then
Nope.
she threatens to quit.
Yep.
But I do think like, and then she comes back and she has good arguments of why she should stay. It was 3 bad hours in an otherwise good game. Like, I think people have
I
been way
think
too
this was
high.
the tribal council where it was really a downpour, right? Like, the
Yeah.
rain makes people do wacky stuff on Survivor.
I think it was probably just also really mentally draining
Mhm.
and draining, you know? So, and I think, I'm not saying that it's a good thing. I'm
Raining
saying
and
other
draining.
people, yeah, exactly. And other people outplayed. I'm not saying that this was good. I'm just saying it was like 3 bad hours.
Yeah.
Like, let's get some perspective here.
Okay.
I would rather that than people who are carrying Parvati to the end to lose. I
But
think that's a
then
long-term mistake.
Lisa
Yeah.
is still in the game, and we're at the final 6, and so it seems like that there is an opportunity here for some healing, and it seems like that the Cirie and Lisa relationship does thaw in the light of day, and from the Lisa
God for
and
that.
I'm sorry, from the Cirie and Parvati perspective, I'm not sure why there wasn't more of a thought of, hey, let's get the band back together. And wouldn't Lisa be a great person for Cirie and Parvati to go to the end with?
The issue is that Cirie and Parvati's paths have been different this whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Their best paths are not even sitting next to each other. And they have this beautiful loyalty that is over and above that, which is really gorgeous to watch. But like, they have different paths that they want. Like, Cirie should definitely have Lisa in the game. It's a different option. And like, she now has a trickier path at 4, whereas Parvati should have the path that she got now, taking out Lisa,
Yeah.
taking out Shaunie. I feel like that's perfect for her. Like, she's fully investing in Luke and Janine, and as she should. It's gotten her to this point, and it's a wonderful point to be.
Yeah. I want to talk about the Parvati and Luke of it all here in
Yes,
this episode,
please.
because to me, I have so many questions, so many thoughts
Yes.
I feel like that. All right, Luke comes to Parvati and tells her, hey, I know you have an idol stealer.
Yeah.
Well, it just so happens I have an idol. Why, Luke? what is the thought here?
I guess the thought is like, we both know David.
Yes.
Don't steal my idol.
Yeah.
And I'll take you to the end. And Parvati's like, I like the sound of that.
Yeah.
So,
It's like, I know you are in possession of a wooden stake. I just want to let you know I am a vampire. You happen to have the weapon to kill me, and don't tell anybody. I just want to like establish trust with you, and basically, and I don't understand. I don't understand why Parvati goes through with
really?
ripping up the thing, because here's my big brain, and again, I'm not Parvati. I'm no Parvati. To
No one
me,
is Parvati.
this was the path to me in this episode was, okay, I am going to. Luke has just told me that he has an idol. I have an idol stealer. I'm going to steal Luke's idol, and I'm going to play it on Lisa at Tribal Council. How about that?
But she'd lose 2 allies to gain 1.
2 for 1.
She'd lose Luke and Janine to gain just Lisa, who doesn't
And
want to sleep with her in
Cirie.
the end.
And now,
She has Cirie.
and now I'm going to the final 5 with me and Cirie and Lisa again. And Luke's going to be immune, so Luke's going to still be there. And maybe you have a pissed off Luke at the final 5. And now we voted out either Shaunie or Janine, and now we have 3, and they have 2, and now all we have to do is just out like our Lisa or Cirie flipping at final 5. We have a much
Maybe.
easier path to the final 3. at that point.
I think Lisa could flip on Parvati. She's saying she doesn't want to sit next to Parvati. She's the only one saying it and the only one thinking it, which is absurd.
She's going to go flip to Luke and Janine after this?
Sure, she's got nothing to play for. She needs to make big moves, and she has nothing that she needs to rely on Parvati for.
She's going to give up a spot in the final 3. Also, hurt Cirie's chance to get to the final 3.
Well, she'd be in a final 4 with Cirie, and she'd have taken out Parvati, who is.
But Parvati still has her idol to play at 5. She's only wasting Luke's idol on this.
But true. But also, is that any better than what ended up happening?
It was, I thought, a dicier path to get. But when we get into this next, not for Parvati, but for Cirie.
Sure. Yeah, I think that the thing about tearing up the advantage is that it makes it slightly trickier for Cirie. And Cirie can.
Go ahead.
No, Cirie can get idled out at the final 5 now because she doesn't have an idol to protect them both.
Yeah.
Or Cirie's now at the final 4 in a pair where she with another pair where she might have to make fire. But at the end of the day, Parvati wants to sit with Cirie, and I know it's beyond the game. I think she's best not sitting next to Cirie and having 3 on the jury, not taking votes from her. And Parvati will be fine. Parvati's ultimate investment has to be in herself, which is Luke and Janine. Going all in with them, trusting the read that they will be with you is what she does, and it carries her through to here. And it's not luck. People have said it's luck. It's an investment on something she's created and read, which is so real. I think it's does it maybe put Cirie in more jeopardy and her pathway high? I mean, to be fair, they're still both here at the final 4, even though Luke has won every single immunity and had all the power. He could have done anything and he had his idol. And they're still here. And it's just slightly trickier for Cirie. For Parvati, it's perfect. I don't know that keeping Lisa in is any better. I think she can probably do that without the idol, possibly bring Shaunie across. I just think that in the conversation that's between Parvati and Cirie, Parvati wants Luke and Janine as she should. Cirie wants Lisa, and she just can't get it done. And I think Parvati's has the right path for her, and she's done the right thing.
I just don't know what ripping up the advantage really bought for her. Where
trust with Luke, and then he doesn't do all the things he should do, and they're on the side of the road. All the plurality votes that he should do against Parvati.
Then why take Eric's necklace? Couldn't they just have made a truce with Eric?
No. Because they were worried Eric would keep winning the immunities and take them. Whereas Parvati will win the final 4 immunity. Luke has no shot at that. So
we're gonna leave. Not only is Luke an immunity threat, we're also gonna leave Luke with an idol. It did work out. It did that. That they have gotten to 4 with Luke, but that was we had to white knuckle through that final 4 tribal council. There was, I think that there are ways in which that final 4 tribal council ends up going a lot smoother if we've just taken Luke's idol, and that even if you don't even play it on Lisa, that if you take Luke's idol, it's hey, Parvati loves giving out idols at tribal council. It's hey, you know what? I've got one for me and one for Cirie, and now we're not going anywhere here at the final 5.
Yeah, well, firstly, if you take it at the final 6, they might turn then. You might need it then. You might not have it for the final 5. It's a lot more combative when she has a very smooth path. I just don't think that she needs to do it. And you say about the Eric thing, I'm not saying that wasn't brilliant. I think that's a very different situation. But I think that Parvati's game has been mature. It's decades later from her glory days in her early 20s. And I think investing in the right thing where you're giving Luke what he wants, and then in return, you're getting his loyalty is very relevant. I think that you're white knuckling through that tribal council, but he does what he says he's going to do because that trust has been given. And at the end of the day, she's not being targeted at 6, and she will play her idol at 5 to get her through to a challenge. She'll likely win at 4, and then a final tribal council she'll likely win. She's okay. So Ree's chances are slightly worse. Parvati's done the best thing for her, I think.
I don't think this was shown in the episode. Did we ever get Cirie's reaction to finding out that Parvati ripped up the idol steal advantage?
No, and I think that is interesting to me because, and I'd love a deep dive with Cirie one day, but I think that if it kind of disenfranchised anyone, it definitely is Cirie, and her chances it could have been 5 maybe or 4. But I think that this is what's so interesting to me is if you ask 10 people who won that interaction between Parvati and Luke, you're going to get different answers. And I think what's going to happen is I think Parvati will beat Luke in a final 3. Yeah. And I think there'll be a lot of people who don't understand it. I'm already hearing from people like, but he got her. And the previously on to saying, like, he got her to rip up her advantage. I'm like, she agreed to it
Yeah.
because it was a calculated risk that is going to work out. So I think people will be mad. I think Cash will be mad. I think my dad might not get it. And I'm going to have to explain it to him. I think
Yeah.
I'll have to explain it to my in-laws. But like, I think that it's kind of like people have a different take on who won that interaction. But I think
I thought
Parvati
Luke
should.
won the interaction in that Parvati had the thing that could totally undermine him, and then he ultimately gave got her
Do what
to
though?
get what's that?
To do what with it? Like he got her to rip it up so that he could never, so that he doesn't vote her out. You know what I mean?
And
Like what?
maybe he lost the interaction in terms of like he should have at that final 5 tribal council like played that differently and played the idol for
Yeah,
Shaunie, and that so
100%.
he got I think he had the opportunity that he squandered, but Parvati I think gave him an opportunity to betray her.
She did, but also in doing it makes him less likely to betray her because she's investing in that relationship. Like
Yeah.
they're not separate. Like she's pushing him to squander it, and he does. Like these things are completely tangled in each other. So I don't think. Yeah, and I kind of like I literally see it as like, oh, I've taken JT's idol to work with JT. Like
Mhm.
you vote JT out with his own idol, Luke. They're on the side of the road. All of these plurality plans that I had for you, right here at the final six.
But
It's
to
just
me,
3, 2,
that
1, right there.
her ripping up the note was like JT giving Russell an idol.
Exactly. But then Luke doesn't vote her out with her.
Yes.
You know,
Okay.
that's
Well,
what
that
I'm
was
saying. It's like then it's meaningless.
Luke. That I just don't think that we're seeing like perfect gameplay.
You're so wrong. No. I think it's like okay, getting the idol from JT is like it's a means to an end, and the end is
Mhm.
voting out JT with his own idol. Getting her to rip it up to go to the final 4 with her and Cirie
Yeah.
is
I don't think
you've
that
not ended the means.
Luke is going to get to the final 4. I feel over final 3.
I don't
I
think.
think that the writing is on the wall to me that the final 3 is Parvati, Cirie, Janine.
I think Cirie's gone next. And I think that Parvati will beat Luke. And I think that there will be people who are confused about it. And I think sometimes a man has, I would say a louder game, but Parvati has had so many confessionals. And even so, I think that Luke is beloved in Australia. He's done things like make her rip up the
Mhm.
note. For anyone listening, I'm highly quoting that. I don't really made her, but I'm just saying that I think that people will see that I think they'll think that he had all these moves, but to me, the moves are shallow. They're vapid. They're surface level wounds that are not wounding her, and she's actually getting what she wants, and that's the real brilliance. And I don't know that everyone will
Mhm.
see that if she beats him in the end. But
Yeah. Yeah, I think that Luke did not have the killer instinct at that final 5 tribal council where Shaunie ends up going home, because I feel like that at the point where he's giving Janine the he's lied about having the idol. I mean, I don't know again why he told Parvati. That seemed like a misplay because
yeah,
that he had again like. I guess the initial mistake, and he realizes it, was to tell Parvati that he has the idol when she the idol stealer. And again, nobody's ever accused Luke of like being like a deep thinker. And you
well,
know, had he
yeah.
not done that, I feel like that there are ways to be able to dismantle this, right?
With that, like with what he did, he like perfectly set up the building blocks to do this,
Hmm.
and then didn't vote JT out with his own idol. Like my pitch, Rob, was that Luke has it all, like 3 votes on Shaunie, right? And then Shawnee votes on Cirie, and then he plays the idol on Shaunie, and then he votes for Parvati. And then we'll
Yeah.
talk about what Parvati could have done, but then Parvati's going to play the idol on herself or Cirie, and one of them will go home on 1 vote, minority split vote.
Yeah. Because if he like had he not won immunity, like I think that there's a world where it's like, oh, hey, what a great time to take out Luke. And I mean, if you're Parvati, wouldn't you rather like go to the final 4 with Shaunie and Janine and not Luke?
No, Luke's worse at endurance. I'd rather take out Shaunie. And I think Shaunie's a bigger chance to win.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think Kirby could vote for Shaunie.
Yeah.
I think Shaunie. I think Shaunie. Yeah, I mean, Luke's been out of a lot of the votes, and like, I think Luke's fine to go with. I think I would just keep running it down with Luke. Do you think the
I don't
YouTube comments will say I was mean to you today?
know. was anybody mean to each other, or two people are having a
I
conversation
think
where we don't
so.
necessarily, agree on everything?
I think so. Can I run something that by you that I've been thinking about?
Sure.
Do you think that Parvati would ever have played the idol on Cirie?
Not in that scenario.
Yeah, in that final five,
Hmm.
because she's acting like what Luke does matters to what she does. But I was thinking about it, and I was thinking if he does play the idol on Shaunie and she plays the idol on Cirie as a response, then it's probably a 0-0, right? Because he was thinking of voting for Cirie, not Parvati. And then the only people you can vote for in the 0-0 revote are Parvati and Luke. And he just saved 2 of the 3 votes that
Hmm.
are available to vote.
Yeah.
So she'd actually vote herself out of the game. And I doubt she was going to do that because she's playing brilliantly and she's
She
much
wasn't going
smarter
to do
than that.
that.
But I
Um,
think that if you want to vote out, if you want to play the idol on Cirie, what you have to do is a 1 vote split on Luke and hope that you send him out on 1 vote. But my 3-1-1 plan from Luke would negate her split, which is one of the
yeah.
other reasons I really like that. But anyway, I was just thinking that through because I don't think there's any way she actually does play it on Cirie, but it was an interesting kind of thought for me.
One of the things I didn't get from this week was Parvati talked about how she wanted to rewrite history of I got to rewrite history of I need to get to the end with Cirie, but she won that season.
No, why would
What
you want to rewrite that? In a
yeah, why
different
don't
world, Cirie
what
wins
are we
that.
rewriting? Like
Cirie should say that.
and again, maybe we're like far into this game and Parvati's like lost the plot a little bit. Like
No, she has the plot.
that
She
she
has the
wants
plot.
to rewrite a different season. I need to rewrite heroes versus villains where I should have won. That's like Cirie needs to rewrite Micronesia. Your writing was perfect. What do you care? Like,
Yeah.
is it just like you know what? Amanda doesn't even freaking deserve to lose to me. Cirie lost to me. What are we rewriting?
Yeah. Well, their bond is
Listen, Parvati
amazing.
is the author, not me.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, well,
I don't know. You didn't need to rewrite. It was fine.
I do agree with you. But their bond is beyond what we can know, and we should never criticize it because it's keeping my sanity intact. Like I love it so much. So I'm but like yeah,
I'm
and that's
just
why I'm
like,
saying like
wait, what? What are we redoing?
how much should Parvati be investing in Cirie? Like how much should she
Yeah.
be doing different plans to help Cirie? How much should she be playing an idol on Cirie to possibly take herself out of the
Hmm.
game at a 0-0 revote? Like
Yes.
I think maybe she has some guilt. Maybe that's what, but like I still think she's prioritizing herself, which is great. But like
Yeah.
maybe she has some guilt about what happened to Cirie, which she shouldn't. It's not her fault.
Why would she have guilt? She won. This
Yeah.
is true survivor's remorse.
Yeah, survivor's guilt.
Survivor's guilt. Yeah. Even
Yeah.
better. Yeah. I should rewrite my line. Okay. So yes, Cirie, I feel like is in a bad spot. I mean, Luke has won 3 challenges in a row now. He's really heating up. It seemed like that maybe Shaunie was gonna like who has a better case against the wind? Shaunie or Teeny?
I don't know. What was Teeny's thing?
The wind blew Teeny was about to beat Sam Phelan in the fire, and then the wind
Oh, the
like
fire. Oh my god. You know I shut these fire memories out, Rob. And I think I'm gonna have to next week. With fire.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, is the win the survivor gods, or do you think there's producers with a fan doing
No. No.
it? But I think for me, it's like Luke has so much space because I don't think Janine will ever turn on
Oh,
him. So
yeah.
I think Luke is set up well here.
No, I feel I want to go back to I brought it up and then I didn't finish my thought of like, did we ever get Cirie's reaction to the idol stealer? Because
No,
I
yeah.
have to imagine, knowing Cirie as well as we know from watching her for all these years, I have to think Cirie's reaction to finding out that Parvati ripped the idol stealer in half to be like, what do you mean you ripped the idol stealer in half?
Yeah. That might be the reason Cirie
Cirie,
loses the
no,
game.
I bought trust with Luke. I bought
Yeah.
trust with him. What do you mean you bought trust with him?
Yeah, because I do think the one thing it does is it limits them at the final 5 once Luke has won immunity. And then they kind of like have to go with this 5 in a different world where they can vote out even like a Janine and go to a 4 with a Shaunie in the hope of maybe like taking out Luke at a final. I mean, I think that Shaunie, to be fair though, I think that Shaunie would want to vote them out. Like she said in the X interview that she would be going for them. So I don't see a world in which
She would want to
whatever
vote out. She would want
happens.
to vote out Cirie and Parvati.
Yeah, like that's what she kind of she knew not to go to the end with Cirie and Parvati. I was like, well done. Not a lot of people seem to know that. So I think that in this final four, Cirie and Parvati have gotten themselves to what might have been the best case scenario of at least like the last couple of rounds, which is a 2-2.
Nobody seems that concerned about it's a lot of Australian players on the jury, right? Like, is anybody concerned about like sitting with? I feel like if I was Cirie or Parvati, I'd think that sitting next to Luke or even Janine, there's no concern that people are like, hey, like it's Australian survivor. We're really gonna let foreigners come in and win Australian Survivor in Australian Survivor versus the world? Listen, we started to, you don't that's not any concern?
Look, based on some of the protests lately, God forbid, I think it might be. But no, I think with this cast especially, and I think I said this on the call-in show today, we as Australians, we're not that patriotic. We're not like Americans. I think you're thinking like an American. I think we're fine. We're patriotic to Cirie and Parvati. Mostly. I think. I am. I pledge allegiance to Cirie and Parv.
Yeah.
So I think that's mostly it. Yeah, I think that we were just so likely to get to a point where it was 2-2, whatever happened. And that's kind of why I think, well, I mean, the crazy thing. So I'm trying to think about the final four. So if he takes out Cirie at the final five with this power, with the fact that he won immunity, he has an idol, he tore up the idol stealer, he has everyone wanting to work with him, he has all of the power in the world to do something really cool, and he does the obvious boring thing that plays into Parvati's hands. Then he votes out Cirie, say, because Parvati's going to play the idol on himself. Then you get to a final four where you can definitely vote out Parvati, or if she wins immunity, which is highly likely.
Yeah.
Then even if Shaunie votes with Parvati against Luke, he still has Janine, and he's just going to fire against Shaunie, who has famously never loved fire. Like, there's so much there.
Yeah.
It's just frustrating.
Yeah, because I feel like if Luke just plays the idol on Shaunie here at this tribal council, Parvati, no chance is playing the idol on Cirie. And
exactly.
As you have often said, Luke at this tribal council, he's put the necklace on Janine. He has implicit immunity when he's wearing the idol around his neck. Cirie and Parvati are not writing down Luke's name, right?
Yeah.
They could split. I don't see it. They could split
a vote, but if he does a 3-1-1,
I don't see
that negates their split anyway.
They didn't.
It's fine.
I don't see it. So he plays the idol for Shaunie, and now in this scenario, okay, the votes against Shaunie are nullified. He and I don't know if Janine is in on this.
No, she doesn't have to be. Do it individually.
Yeah.
Do something cool, Luke.
Shaunie voted for Cirie. He can vote for Cirie. Cirie has gone home at final five. Isn't this the outcome that, like, isn't this the most Cirie thing that could have happened?
Well, if she loses at fire next week before the final tribal council.
But that's old. She's done that.
This is new. Yeah,
this is like a
there's
new
only
way
so many ways to be screwed in
the
the game. Well, not screwed here, but like there's only so many ways to lose it at this point. And sometimes you have to get to the reruns. Like, there's how many options are there?
I did think it was very funny that at the tribal council here at I think it was at 5 where JLP's asking Cirie questions about like, but don't you see, like, you've got the Australians, and Cirie answers like the question, like basically like, Jonathan, that this is people from all over the world are watching this, and I think that we're showing people that you can have trust among people, and this is like a really great example to people. And somewhere out there, Quentin and Andy from the Traitors' heads are exploding.
I thought you were going to say Eric Reichenbach.
No.
Like, yeah, I mean, Ari, right? Like everyone in the
really, sourpuss crybabies from the first season of the Traitors. That's still to this day.
People. Over decades, it's a room full of people just like with baseball bats, just like hitting it. Like, but
that's really, Cirie? Really, we're going to learn about how to trust people from this?
He made me believe in integrity and honor. Like, I get it now. Thank you, Cirie. It's beautiful. Beautifully said.
Right. I want to know from you, Shannon, and this is a little bit of Survivor 50 talk. This was not set up great for Cirie here in Australian Survivor versus the world. She had Lisa. Do you feel like that potentially in Survivor 50, is Cirie walking into an environment there where the way that people have fawned over Parvati in this season, do you think that it is more likely Cirie is walking into a scenario in Survivor 50 where there are more people fawning over Cirie the way people fawned over Parvati in this season?
I actually don't think this was a terrible setup for Cirie. I feel like she was like a target, but she had shields. She had
Mhm.
women's alliance potential. She did have Lisa, and like I think this was actually, and I think like Parvati's position in she had the women's alliance potential, but she was a bigger target. And she's just played it so well. But Cirie is like such a big fish in 50. Like she's such an outlier in
Yeah.
many ways.
I think that she needs
Yeah.
to be around more of the new era people. I think the new era people will have like that reverence for her the way that Lisa had
Yeah, who's gonna
in
Lisa it? Who's gonna be the
right.
next member of the Fields family? Is it
I'd
me?
have to go back. Like Camilla, maybe. I don't know. I'm trying to
Oh,
think of
she'd
like,
yeah. Genevieve maybe apparently loves Cirie.
yeah. I think that the younger players, like the new era players, like
Charlie's good.
it's like not going to be like Jenna Lewis
It's not gonna be
or
Colby.
uh
Who are you?
mhm.
Yeah.
They were on a tribe together,
Yeah,
Shannon.
I know.
Mhm.
I know. He's one of the other people who voted
I
her
just
out.
wonder that even if it doesn't work out for Cirie here, I do think that like let's not forget Cirie still has another season and one that could be set up in a decent way for her.
If Cirie doesn't win Survivor in the next 8 months, I'm so
Yeah.
done with the show. I'm so done.
Hmm.
Like I'm so out. It's fine. You don't need to win the show. Like sometimes you need to come agonizingly close 6 different times.
Yeah. Okay.
Sometimes that's the real win. Win was the friends we made along the way, right? Trust, integrity, loyalty. Learning that was really the thing we learned. So that was the message all along.
All
I just
right. So
need to
we're
get
set
there.
up going into Final Four. We got one more episode. Do you think we're going to bring out loved ones for the Final Four
Yeah.
challenge in classic Australian Survivor fashion?
I don't think they will, but I kind of I really hope they do. We were talking on the patron call-in show today about how in returning seasons they should do it with like players.
Hmm. I mean, they
Imagine
did
if
that for
David came back
George.
for everyone. Exactly, and it was so good when Kara came out for George. Imagine if David came out for 3/4 of it's like just David and HB.
Yeah.
We could
David's
only
here for
get you David.
everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Ree's like, I don't know David. It's like, it's fine. We've all everyone group hug
Oh,
David.
speaking of David, what do you think about Shaunie? He's like, I'm retiring the red dress. I'm
Yeah.
done. Next, I'm coming for JLP's job. I'm gonna. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
Shaunie, too soon.
No, well, I'm surprised they left that in because everyone would want that. Like, if they had announced that, it actually would have gone quite well. Also, I bargained Shaunie down in the exit interview that she will come back in 5 years. So you're all very welcome.
Mhm.
And Shaunie was great in that. Like, we needed more of Shaunie. She would kept being like, you don't want to be at a 2-2 in the fight. Like, she was like, I've been here. It was just, yeah,
Yeah.
famously, she like, we didn't want to make fire at all. And she went to a 2-1-1. But like, yeah, we really needed more. And we needed more as a host. Maybe she and David combined. Why didn't we see that tag team?
I feel like that we've done that like in The Bachelor a little
Yeah, we
bit,
did.
where
Halen and Tayshia.
where how would you divide up the labor here? No pregnancy pun intended for Shaunie.
Shaunie.
How
I would have them say every second word.
so
That's not where you thought that would go, but it is like
yeah.
39 days, like 40, 24
Who's
people.
doing tribal council? Are they like tag teaming tribal council? It's
Every
like
second word. Yeah.
both of them are there. I kind of like that. At the challenges.
Why don't they just keep adding players until people stop being irate?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you didn't like David? All right, Shaunie's joining him. Like, how many, like, Parvati will be there? Like, at what point are you guys going to get your pound of flesh? Like, that we
Yeah.
get to keep
I mean,
adding players
in the
to replace
challenges
JLP?
where it's like 1v1, like one tribe versus one, you could have like
Yeah.
one of them like over there, like, oh, I'm like David, I'm over here. And boy, the Titans are really struggling. Like, oh, from my vantage point, the rebels have got it all figured out.
Yeah, I mean, look, how would Shaunie have hosted the show? She says she wants to have 2 more kids in the next 3 years. She's on a second pregnancy. I don't think you can go to Samoa. So, I mean, we video call her in, COVID style. We just zoom Shaunie in to be
No,
there.
we can't do that.
Well, that's maybe why she lost the gig. It's hard to
Mhm.
be a woman. But yeah, such a shame. Such a shame. What do you think about the fact that Luke is going jungle crazy? Because I'm really enjoying it.
What do you mean jungle crazy?
He's like, crazy Luke. I'm like, Luke, it's been 2 weeks.
That to me is regular Luke.
It's not. Like, I feel like he wasn't even like this the first couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it is. I think losing David did something to him. Luckily, he will see him in just a couple of days as the universal loved one.
Yeah.
How great would that be? Imagine bringing David out. Imagine if they just kept him there.
Yeah, and we're not going to get a reunion, sadly,
No.
right?
No.
Did they go home when they lost?
They
Do we
did.
know?
I think they did.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
There was no like pre-jury ponderosa or
I
anything
think
like
they went
that
home.
for the 4
Yeah.
people that got voted out
Yeah.
before the jury.
Yeah.
What else? You want to just like I'm sure do a lot of wrap up next week, but this was, I feel like, for you an unmitigated success, right?
I think the last couple episodes slowed it down. Thank you, David.
Mm-hmm.
See you in a couple days. Yeah, I think it's like, where does the season? Well, should we do that next week? Like, where the season
Yeah.
falls for you and stuff. I think it's been very fun, and I think that the bar has been so high that if it ever slips below that a little bit, we get a bit like, why isn't this the best episode of all time? But it has been fantastic.
Is it worth even prognosticating if Parvati somehow goes out at Final Four of what the Cirie, Luke, Janine Final Three looks like?
I think we've said that Cirie wins that, right? Like, so because Cirie would get the worlds and Parvati, that's 4 of 7. So that's the shot.
Mm-hmm.
She gets Cass, Tommy, because they're not like, well, they're not going
Yeah.
to look at Janine. Lisa, obviously, and Parvati. That's 4 already.
Yeah.
Not to mention
Okay.
she could get Kirby.
Do we see
Shaunie,
possibly like if Luke or Janine win the Final Four challenge? And again, I feel like that this
Janine,
is like
maybe.
heavily weighted for Parvati, a Parvati win setup. Would Cirie try to get Luke and Janine to vote out Parvati?
I struggle. Like, the whole time I've been like, when is she going to take out Parvati? She's never said she wants to take out Parvati, and I've just been making that up. I think she gives Parvati fire. And I think that would be like possibly a game losing mistake, because if Parvati leaves, that's Cirie's win. But I don't know that she wants to do that. What do you think? Do you think you would ever vote out Parvati here?
What will she do? I mean, like, who will she vote for? Janine?
Well, who's Parvati voting for? Like, say Janine wins, so they vote for Luke.
Yeah.
Go to fire. Well, the other one who doesn't win immunity.
Mm-hmm.
Unless Cirie wins immunity, which I still really want to happen. Yeah, whoever Parvati's voting for. Like, she's either in or out on Parvati, and I think she's in. I think that they've made this bond. I think they were kind of like, we're going out there on the 16-day season. Like, let's try to win, but like, let's really do this together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else
Honor and
from
integrity.
Yes, it's what it's all about in Survivor these days.
Yeah.
I'm looking through my notes from this past week, but yeah, it's been what a ride. I can't believe it's over.
I know. Well, it's almost over. I think the thing that we'll look back at this week as like the missed opportunities of Luke's multiple plurality vote fails that he never tried. And I think that a slowed down endgame where people kind of just lock in is what Australian Survivor's kind of known for, right? Like, Heroes versus Villains has that a bit. 2017, even these like fantastic seasons do have that.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird though, because you usually think it's like it's just been so long and it's like at a point they need to lock in, but this has been 60 days and I still feel like it reverted to that. So I think that is quite interesting. So yeah, I mean, I'm interested to see how it ends, but it is interesting that it went that way.
Yeah.
I think.
What do you think is the future for this type of like short form season?
Well, I think the concern is that they haven't filmed or they're not seemingly doing one right now.
Mm-hmm.
They filmed this a year ago, thereabouts.
But it would have been hard to greenlight it without knowing the success of it. Another one.
Yeah. But the thing is, like, they're not going to do it for next year, because the whole point was like they did it right after Brains v Brawn 2.
Right.
And they're filming Redemption now.
Yeah.
So they need to have it ready to go in like 2 weeks, which they clearly don't.
Right.
They could do it though. If they really locked in, they could get people to do it.
But you've said the ratings are good, and
the ratings were highest
a big success.
The ratings for episode 7 were higher than even the premiere I saw.
Mm-hmm.
So that was good. So I think that maybe they'll look to do it in a year.
Yeah.
Or 2 years from now.
Because I mean, I think that there was no like real proof of concept. I mean, it could have just been something that nobody cared about that would have been hard to put more money into it. But if it's doing better ratings than even the normie Survivor, right?
Which also has returnees. I think it did do better. Yeah.
So I think that there's probably a market for this type of like short run, special event to do it again. So maybe, a year from now, because they would film it, and that would put it on in 2 years time.
Yeah, 2 years. In defense of Normie Survivor, like that's in a harder spot over obviously a longer time. So that's up against
What do you
Married
mean
at
it's in a
First
harder
Sight.
spot? Like
Like
it's
that's the beginning of the year is like a really tough space
for TV ratings? Is that what?
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is like a 3 weeks. Like not. I'm like it's been amazing, but I don't even know what
Mhm.
else is on TV right now.
Yeah.
I
All
should.
right.
I should. That's just a me thing.
Shannon Guss,
Yeah.
anything else for you 3 weeks into Australian Survivor
No,
versus the World?
I wanted to say how we're going on the Chizzy raffle.
Okay.
Oh no, I don't have it. Where is it? Wait, I'm getting it up. We've raised $2,150, which I'm really happy with.
Yes.
And we've sold 255 raffle tickets so far. So
Mhm.
get your Chizzy raffle donations in for the Forever After Rescue. Because you have a couple of days left till Friday night, Australian time, midnight. Just like
Mhm.
Friday morning in the States. Yeah, get in your Chizzy raffles. Email me chizzyraffle@gmail.com with your donations. $10 for one, $25 for three. Who would you give your Chizzy points to, Rob? I mean, we don't know next week, but do you think you'll probably give it to like JLP? What about like Tommy's poncho is something people have thought about? People might
Mhm.
give to their individual pets. Do you have any things you wanted to spend a Chizzy ticket on if you were to
So
win
the
the
whole
raffle?
idea is that I can just throw a spanner in the works of the Chizzy Awards. Is
You don't
that?
have to break the Chizzy, but last time we did this, someone gave a point to Santini from Survivor South Africa. So the
Mhm.
charts are forever ruined anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So the
that was
idea
your
is like,
Chizzy winner.
if I win the
Chizzy
raffle,
raffle.
what could I potentially do to make Shannon crash out by throwing
Yeah,
off
that's
her
fun.
beloved Chizzy Awards?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know necessarily. I'd have to like, give it
Yeah,
some
how
thought.
can I I'm gonna stew on this. Like, how can I most irritate you?
Yes.
Yeah, you could probably giving points to Luke for this week would have been. Wait, I gave him some.
Well,
Points.
I did think that Luke had
He
a
got
mixed
3 points.
bag. I mean,
Yeah,
the guy
from me.
won 3 immunity challenges.
Yeah, that was good. It's good to win immunity.
He got Parvati to tear up
Did he get
the.
her, Rob? Did he get her, or did she willfully participate in something that
I mean,
also helped her?
listen, that you could say Eric, that did he give up his necklace or did he do something to build trust? Like
What do you mean? He
sometimes
got
you
immediately voted? No, what? No. He got immediately voted out. That read was wrong. Like Parvati didn't get voted out. If she'd done that, her read would have been wrong. And it would have been
that's
wrong
fine, but
too.
sometimes you have to give trust to,
Wait,
to
if
get.
Eric gives up the necklace and they say this actually did help us with the trust, and then they actually do vote out who was it going to be, Amanda? That would be completely different. We would not like that would be a completely different move. That's not like that's
Yeah.
actually proving my point. Actually, thank you. That's
Yeah. I think that Luke then misplayed, like he got what he wanted and then he misplayed it after
he
that.
did.
So,
Right there. where you
but
want
he,
mine.
he set things up to that he, like Parvati placed her trust in him, and then Parvati was right because he delivered the trust. He was wrong in that, it's Survivor and he should have broken the trust and done what he needed to do to win.
Which is so weird because he's like at the voting booth, like, which one should I do?
Even when he had another chance to do like a Mike Holloway-esque, like I thought it was too cute by more 10 times of okay, you say my name, I'll say your name. And then I think Parvati kind of said Luke first, and then he should have said, I'm playing the idol for Shaunie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Well,
what?
the thing is as well is like, I think that if she says Luke and he says Shaunie, she can be like, oh no, wait, takesy backsies. Like
I don't think
3-second rule. 3-second
okay,
rule,
what is
right?
this?
No, for
No,
me, for me.
we had this on Big Brother this season, like
What? What, you had that? That feels very specific.
yeah, we had where somebody voted on Big Brother.
Oh, I saw that. I saw
And
that
then,
and she takes the backsies and they say no.
then Rachel got convinced Ashley to vote a certain
Yeah.
way. And then Will in the hallways,
Yeah.
she says, I voted for, I forget who it was. And he's like, that was bad. And she goes
went
back
in
and
the
then, she's
room.
like, I meant, I want to say, I meant to say I evict the other person. And then
And
Julie's
Julie's
trying
like,
to move us
no.
was like, no.
That wasn't 3-second rule though. That was like 10 seconds. That vote was covered in sand and glass. Like that was gone. Whereas
if you get to do an interview with JLP, ask him if would Parvati have been allowed to. She says Luke, and then Luke says I'm playing out for Shaunie. Is she allowed to then say no?
Beat him by the fine art of like timing. Also,
Mhm.
Tommy said in his ex interview, he's like, I was sharing cookies with Parvati, and I was thinking, like, I think Parvati was trying to kill you for real, Black Widow style, because I think they were
With the
covered in
glass?
glass.
That's covered in
Yeah.
glass? Yeah.
Yeah. But
Um,
anyway,
but,
yeah.
Parvati,
That was funny. That was funny.
does a great job of, it was a precarious position. Great job by her to get to this setup where, people can't wait to award her the win, and nobody seemed capable of stopping her.
Yeah, I think that her whole relationship with Luke, do you know what it's giving? It's giving, I trust you because David told me to, but I don't know how I feel about it. The whole
And
time.
same
She's
from
like,
him.
yeah, I really think so. She's known him for less than a week. David's right there. He's like in their ears. Maybe
Mhm.
literally was an ear. No, I'm joking. Yeah. David's right there. You want a David, you got David. Okay, it's there. You want a Dante? We did it. This is
Yeah.
the whole alliance. So
Okay. Shannon, tell us about your finale coverage coming up on
yes.
Sunday.
Firstly, of this week, obviously all the recaps are out. I had 3 X interviews. I had Tommy, Lisa, and Shaunie. Cass will be next week. And I will hopefully have all of the X interviews next week for the final 4, but not all on the first day. Like, they will be released through the week because 10 will have to obviously get them done as we can in like the first few days of next week.
Mhm.
I
Shannon's
will
busy
have
doing a TED Talk.
probably
Mhm.
so busy. We'd be so lucky to get Shitty.
Keynote.
I think
Yeah.
it's more than 10 are busy. Like 10 have limited resources. But yeah, then we're gonna have a finale recap. I think it's gonna be, we're saying 8 ET Sunday night, 10 a.m.
Mhm.
Sydney time on Monday morning. So it's like about exactly 12 hours after the finale ends. We're going to recap it live with all the recap bitches. We're going to do the final chizzy points that someone has won. And then we're going to have a show as well, Rob.
Yeah,
So
we'll be back together for
yeah.
one more.
Yeah.
Rob reacts to the Australian Survivor finale.
I'm sorry if I was mean. I don't
I
want to be
didn't
mean.
think you were mean.
I hope
Listen,
not.
I podcast with my wife. This is nothing.
I podcast with you, so I'm used to it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm joking. Rob's not mean to me, guys. Don't come for Rob in the comments. Don't say you were spoiled by this. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
If you are here, it is your choice. I'm
Okay.
sorry. You couldn't be doing more.
All right. Shannon, this has been so fun. I've really enjoyed getting to talk about this all here with you. And so it's been a fun ride. I hope everybody else has enjoyed it. And then Shannon and I will get back together. And if you're a patron, check out Shannon's
Yes.
Q&A. How long
That
did you
was
go
fun.
with the patrons?
2.5 weeks with the weeks.
Were they on their best behavior?
As long as the season. Yes, it was 2.5 hours. We took a lot of calls in the Q&A. We talked about a lot of things, as we said, a lot of the things spoken about today, about a lot of people had theories about how Cirie would not break our hearts, and we went through all of them. It was so good. I've never done that before, and it was so good to chat to the patrons. So many people
I
are coming
love
to
it.
San Francisco.
I have so much fun during
It's
the
so
Survivor season
good.
going through
It
everything.
really put me in
People
such a
have
good
good
mood. People
questions.
are so nice, and
Yeah.
it's just like such a lovely community. And Miles was here. Miles came to hang
Yes?
out with Peter. And then I was like, Miles, you come in. And then
Oh,
everyone wanted to meet Miles. So that was fun.
yeah.
Yeah, it was
All right.
good.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much for joining us here for this one last look at the full week of Australian Survivor versus the World. We'll be back to talk about the finale after it airs. Take care, everybody. Have a good one. Bye. This is RHAP. We know reality TV.